view it again after the webinar and be able to forward it to anybody that couldn't join us from within your organization. So we're already recording? Yeah. Great. So thank you everybody for joining us today for another installment of our social recruiting webinars. Our topic today is how to get more employee referrals with Facebook recruitment. All other webinars in the series are recorded and posted on our website at employers.identified.com/events. I'm Jen Picard, the Product Marketing Director here at Identified, and I am not joined by Eric Stalnick, our VP of Sales. He couldn't make it today, but we'll go ahead and move on without him. Identified Employer Solutions are Facebook recruiting solutions for the social employer. Our tools include a Facebook job posting app and a Facebook sourcing tool. We currently have an intro package to all of our webinar attendees, so if you're interested in learning more about our recruitment solutions, go ahead and indicate so in the chat box and we'll follow up with you after the webinar. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the key takeaways for today's presentation. The webinar should last about 30 minutes and we'll leave 15 minutes at the end for a Q&A session. So please feel free to ask any questions throughout the webinar by typing them into the Q&A box to your right. Today, we're reviewing why Facebook is imperative to your overall recruitment strategy and how you can use it to increase referrals. During this webinar, we will discuss why you should care about employee referrals, how to build an effective employee referral program on Facebook, how to get your employees on board, how to set up your Facebook presence to attract referral candidates, and how to best handle referral candidates during the recruitment process. We're going to start off by discussing why Facebook is such a great place to find referral candidates. Facebook just passed 901 million members last month, is what they announced, up from 845 million a couple months ago, which makes it the largest human database of all time. They're actually aiming to get to 1 billion members by the end of this year, which would be phenomenal. So as you can see in the 2011 Forrester study shown in the background, 96% of U.S. adults who use social networking sites are using Facebook. So 96%, that's a huge portion of people. And many of your employees have built their personal and maybe even their professional networks on Facebook, and so they're likely to start their search for a referral candidate there. What's more is that the average Facebook user has 130 first-degree connections, which means that there are 17,000 second-degree connections from which to help you find a referral. So in case you haven't heard, referrals are kind of a big deal. In 2011, employee referrals were the biggest source of external hires. That's because they're one of the most cost-effective ways to attract quality candidates. The reward to employees who refer your new hire usually costs about 80% less than the cost of agency fees. Your employees can also speak on your behalf to share your employment brand and show their connections why your company is a great place to work. Plus, your employees know your company's culture and your expectation of hires, so referral candidates are essentially already screened for a cultural fit. It's unlikely that you'll be referred a poor candidate because the person referring won't want this to reflect poorly on them if they did. Referrals are also hired faster and stay longer at your company because the new hire who is referred already knows someone in the organization and won't feel completely alone when they start. Plus, getting referrals instead of applicants will have an impact on how many resumes you have to sift through in order to find the right hire. So a couple of really quick stats for you. According to the ERE, a referral candidate is 54 times more likely to result in a hire than a candidate coming from a job board. And like we said before, that's really huge because it's easier to recruit through your referrals. So you have a smaller pool of really qualified people versus hundreds of applications that you're getting from these job boards that are questionably qualified for the position. We also found that employees hired through referral have a 25% higher retention rate, which is according to a workforce management and Ohio University study. JobVite also found that employee referrals get hired 55% faster than candidates from company career sites. So there's a lot of really great benefits to using referrals. But you can't really expect that 100% of your hires are going to come to you from this method. But what we have seen is that companies that do it right can easily get 70% of their hires through referrals. So let's go ahead and see how you can utilize Facebook to get more referrals. Social networks are a great resource for helping you find referral candidates, but you can't really expect your employees to wait until they get home to search for those referrals. It's just really not going to happen. So I'd say the first thing to really think about is that permission to use Facebook, Twitter, and other social tools during the workday will get people enthused about your referral program. So make sure your company allows access to social channels. This is something that has been pretty hotly debated. A lot of companies have blocked social channels, and some are starting to bring those back in. And what you'll see is that not only for the HR department for hiring referrals, the marketing department's having really great success allowing people to also utilize social channels to help promote the company. So at our company, everybody here has access to everything on the internet, and we're able to get our employees on board with everything that's happening in our different departments and to get them to share that information with their network. So if we have a big PR push coming up, we can ask everybody to share our important stories that get published on Forbes, which makes Forbes more likely to talk about us again. We share open job postings. People are more likely to share those job postings within their own social networks. And it really helps the whole company work together as a team to accomplish each individual's department's goals. What you also want to make sure, though, is that you have a formal social media policy in place to ensure that your employees are using social media effectively and not abusing their privileges. So this might be something that you work with in conjunction with the marketing or PR department to make sure that everybody's on board. But it would be nice to have buy-in, I think, from the HR department as well. And this the formal social media policy would help you educate your employees and managers on how to use social networks for professional purposes and also encourage them to get involved. You might find that some of your employees actually would need help creating a profile, growing their network, or understanding how you want them to promote your company and your job postings. So if you have the resources, your company may want to appoint an internal social media expert to act as a go-to for any guidance that might be needed. We here at Identified have a great social media strategist, Sherry, that helps us basically make sure that everybody is being consistent with their messaging, to make sure that all of the different departments are really utilizing social media to its full potential in terms of recruitment, in terms of marketing, in terms of PR, product development, etc. So if you have the resources to do that, I would highly recommend it. You also want to make sure that your social channels alert your employees about job openings for which you'd like referrals. So if you start online conversations about open positions and share company news, your internal promoters are in the know and they're ready to share with their personal networks. The way that Identified does this is we've set up a closed Facebook group for employees interested in keeping up with what everything's going on in the company. So you can either set up a social referral group or just a regular HQ group. So since we're a small company, I post some of my job openings to Identified's HQ group, which you can see here. And I can ask my coworkers if they have any friends interested in working with the marketing department for the summer. Larger companies, like I said, may choose to set up a separate page just for referrals. Any of your employees interested in your referral program would then be able to join that group and get alerts when you post something. So what you can actually do on this page too is you can allow your employees to ask questions about the job opening, like if you're not clear on how many years of experience you want or what cultural fit you want, they can clarify that with you. They can request follow-up with you. So they can say, hey, I haven't heard back from you. You know, I submitted a friend for this job last week and they wanted to know what the status was. You know, just what's going on so I can give them the heads up. They can ask you on this group. And then you might even also just proactively give updates regarding the status of the job opening. So you might say, hey, everybody, thanks for submitting your referrals. You know, we're closing the request at this time. We've got so many great ones, and we're moving on to the interview phase next week and looking to hire by the beginning of next month. So just updating everybody with what you're doing in regards to the referrals is a really good way to keep your lines of communication open and keep your employees referring candidates to you. But the group can really be whatever you want to make of it. So you can, go really big and be really active on it, or you might choose just to post things on there and allow your employees to chat amongst themselves. You can also choose to post job openings directly on your Facebook company page or through your Twitter handle or maybe through LinkedIn. So asking your employees to follow your company on these various social channels is yet another way to communicate with them online. Once your employees have been notified of open positions, ask them to utilize those same social channels you posted on to reach out to selected candidates and tell them about the job, or ask them to update their statuses with the info on the job. So encourage them to not only do big broadcasts, but to also contact people directly if they think the person is suitable for the role and will fit in with your company culture. Some companies choose to make this process even easier for their employees by sending out what's called a lazy tweet. So this is basically where you provide your employees with an example of what they could say and allow them to add their own personal touch if they want. So they can basically just send out a pre-put-together message on your behalf that has kind of all the information that you'd recommend sharing. Makes it really easy for them. So although the screenshot above shows ask my coworkers that they send the applications directly to my Facebook job posting, companies might also like to ask the referring employee to fill out a form for each candidate that they refer. So you should ask them how well they know their friend and what they think of them so that you can gauge the quality of the applicant. You may also want to consider restricting your employees to referring a maximum of 3 people per role. They may have more than 3 friends, which could be a good fit, but ask them to only submit the best 3. This will really encourage them to think about the people they refer and will increase the quality of the referees who come your way. So now that you know how to ask for referrals, let's discuss what you can do to improve your chances of getting them. Sticky HQ did a survey to find out what motivates employees to refer quality candidates and found that the highest ranked incentive was just a simple public recognition. Just maybe during a team meeting you say, I just want to give a shout out to Lizzie, she helped us find a marketing intern. A close second, actually, money was considered of equal value to a simple thank you. So just thanking them, in person. The next 2 were days off and a reward in product. So it may make sense for you to do a similar survey internally. You could probably even do it on Facebook with one of their polls to find out what will incent people to refer quality candidates. Just make sure that you equate the value of the reward to the value of the hire. So, for example, if you're spending thousands of dollars on agency fees to fill a role and are only paying out a couple $100 for referrals, you shouldn't expect to see the same results. It's a common practice to pay between $1,000 to $2,500 per hired referral. I also recently heard about companies giving a smaller monetary reward just for referring a qualified candidate, so whether they were hired or not. This gives your employees some immediate gratification, so they're not waiting 3 months to get a reward. They're getting it immediately and getting that positive feedback immediately. And then it also doesn't punish them if the person they hired was qualified but just not hired for a reason outside of their control. So, maybe they did a great job with the referral, but the person wasn't interested in the position, or you just found somebody that was a better fit. Or you found somebody that had more experience, but they would have actually been a good fit for the role, you can still give them, a smaller amount just to say, hey, thanks for the referral, keep them coming. And the amount usually it would be around $25. So instead of, a couple thousand for a hire, if you give everybody just $25 for a qualified referral, it kind of evens out to about the same amount that referral bonuses for hires would have been. But everybody kind of gets a lot happier and, gets immediate gratification from the referral. Some companies have gone creative with their rewards and used different giveaways. I've heard of cars, boats, home renovations even. One thing I found really interesting, there's a company, and I don't know how to pronounce this, Keen Tiles or quintils. They gave cash rewards and entered referring employees into a grand prize drawing for an exclusive trip with the National Geographic Expeditions. So this approach really heightened engagement because they were not only getting money, but they had a chance to win this really cool trip. And they saw that their employee referrals began to just constantly rise. 3 winners were actually randomly picked at the close of the quarter. And they found that the theme was really well received and emphasized their company culture, which values adventure and experience. And it really encouraged world knowledge and culture sharing. The next reward that they're doing is a trip to the 2012 Summer Olympics in London, which really enforces the concepts of the value of competition, being the best, pushing the limits, global cultures all coming together for positive reasons, and valuing experiences and memories. So just like the Olympics attracts the world's best talent, they're saying, hey, we're looking for the world's best talent too. If you help us find it, we'll help you see what's going on at the Olympics, which I think is a really cool concept. Really interesting trip. I know for when I would love to go to the 2012 Olympics. But regardless of the rewards, if you want your employees to participate, you have to make it simple for them. And you have to keep your employees involved in the process. So that means laying out the process for everybody, letting them know what to expect. So letting them know what the hiring process will look like. So we are collecting resumes through this time. We will start interviews at this time. Your candidate should be able to hear from us by then. And we're looking to hire within this time frame. That way that the referring employee can pass that information along to their friends, and that they don't have to kind of sit in the dark through the whole process, because if they're referring their friend to you and their friend doesn't hear back right away, they probably have some questions, and it would be nice to have your employee be able to answer those for the candidate. You should also make it really easy to refer somebody. If it's not easy, people won't do it, plain and simple. So that's where Facebook comes in. I'm going to show you how to do that now. You should always use the same medium to contact candidates that you use to attract them. For example, if you want your employees to send an email to their contacts to find referrals, you should send them an email asking for those referrals. Using one medium to direct people to another medium is just confusing. So emailing somebody and asking them to go on Facebook is a little bit confusing and lessens the chance that they'll follow through. So if you're looking for referrals on Facebook, you should ask people to reach out to their Facebook network of friends and family from Facebook. Also, because your employees are finding candidates on Facebook, you should allow those candidates to apply on Facebook as well, so that you're not taking anyone off the medium that they're already using. Facebook is actually found, and this is why their advertising is structured the way it is. If you advertise on Facebook, they charge you more to take somebody to a page off of Facebook versus taking them somewhere within Facebook. And that's because it really lowers the engagement, and the bounce rates are a lot higher. So if you have a candidate apply for a job and you bring them to your Facebook page and then that page redirects them off of Facebook, they're more likely to bounce off of that web page you send them to, so immediately click out of it. They're just confused. They don't like to be taken off of the site that they're already on. So the first step what you want to do, as we discussed earlier, is set up a Facebook group. A Facebook group is an easy way to communicate with your internal employees about your job openings. You can use it to post your jobs, to ask for referrals, and to send the location of the application. If you can keep all of this on Facebook, like I said, that's even better. As a best practice, you would ideally want to lead your referral candidates to your Facebook business page, which is what you can see here, to see the job description and apply. So this is our identified careers page. We use this specifically to reach out to candidates. As a company, we have 3 separate Facebook pages. We have one for our marketing. So the one that I run is our B2B site. It's so that I can communicate directly with recruiters like you, and I can share valuable content with my community, and I can let you guys know we have a daily Facebook recruiting tip of the day. I can talk about my webinars on there. I can talk about Anything that's happening in the world of social recruitment that would be valuable to you all as my readers and as my audience, which is not necessarily the same content that I would share with some of our users. So Identified.com has its own page as well, where that's pretty much our corporate page where they talk about things that are just general to the company, so press releases, milestones, how many users we have, and then giving job seeker advice to some of the people that follow us there. But then we have this third page, Identified Careers, and this is where we're trying to build our talent community on Facebook. And this is where we provide job seeker tips, and we post our jobs, and we get people enthused about our program. And this is where we've built our employment brand by posting pictures of our company, pictures of our employees, of our office, of our events, to show people what it's like to work here and really get them excited about working here. We also have our job posting app on here, which is called Identified Talent Link, that makes it really easy to keep our candidates on this page. So after you install the app, jobs can be pulled straight from your ATS, or you can use Talent Link sort of like an ATS to post jobs on your page and collect applications. It's pretty easy. It's very similar to what you'd see on other job posting sites. Now, to really get the most out of your page, you should also work on conveying your employment brand, like I was talking about just a minute ago, to help you attract your candidates. So you'd want to add pictures of your employees, your office, your company events, which helps you paint a picture of what working for your company would be like. You may also want to add a video to your page, or a couple of videos, especially for your more important positions. So you may want to create a video with the hiring manager introducing the company, the position, and what the ideal candidate might look like. You may also want to take an office tour and ask some of the other people in the hiring department what they like about their job. You also want to make sure that you're posting valuable content on your timeline, which will appeal to referral candidates. So like I said, you want to keep in mind what your target audience looks like and try and post things that grab their attention. This might include articles from your employer blog or from third-party blogs. It might include press releases about your company's successes or milestones that you're proud of. Now, all of this stuff really gives the referral candidate additional information about your opportunity, which is particularly useful if your employees are sending you passive candidates. So passive candidates are generally considered to be happily employed, so they might need this extra reassurance that your opportunity is even worth considering. So if they're happy where they're at, some of this other information will say, well, wow, maybe the grass is greener on the other side. Just so they want to make sure that this opportunity is worth their time. They have to take time off to consider the other opportunity to interview. They have to sneak away from the office. They have to hide it from their boss. They just want to make sure that if they are going to consider another opportunity, that it's the right decision. So once you've gotten your employees enthused about your referral program, and once you start attracting some great candidates through some of these employment branding tips, you need to handle them appropriately to keep your successes going. So now we're going to talk about how to handle referral candidates. You must, absolutely 100% must respond to all of your referrals. Otherwise, the effort that you put into your employment branding and the effort that you will have put into building up this employee referral program will have all been wasted. You have to remember that these are your employees' friends and connections. You can't abuse them and you cannot waste them. It is technically a good practice to give every candidate a great experience, but it's always going to be way more important to respond to referrals than ordinary applicants. If you don't give every single referral applicant the best candidate experience, your employees will not refer any more candidates to you, and you miss out on all of the great benefits described in the beginning of this presentation. So reduced time to hire, lower hiring costs, everything, the retention rate, all of those things are so important to the overall recruitment process. You don't want to lose all of that. It also reflects really poorly on you and your business, and then also the person making the referral, which actually creates an unreferral. So that's where the person that received the referral will highlight their poor experience with your company to their peers. So Rather than doing good, you're actually setting yourself back a couple of steps because people are telling their friends, hey, don't work for this company. It was a terrible recruitment experience. And that's so bad for your employment brand and everything that you've worked for to build that up. So don't let that happen. You also want to make sure that you keep your employees involved in the process. So we talked about this a little bit. Notify them of the hiring process. Let them know if their contact has or has not expressed interest in the job. Help them understand what the recruitment process looks like, what your timetable is, what the steps are, where their candidate is in that pipeline. And then if they refer somebody that's not a great fit, you should probably help them understand more clearly what it is that you're looking for so they're not making those same mistakes over and over again, and they're not just kind of spinning their wheels. So that's going to be it for today's presentation. Go ahead and ask your questions in the chat box to your right, and we'll try to get to all of them today. And while we're waiting for a few more to come in, let's do a quick review of Identified's employer solutions. So Identified has created Facebook recruiting solutions for the social employer to complement your existing recruiting strategies. Our solutions include a job posting app for your company page or your career page, and a sourcing tool that helps you professionalize personal Facebook connections and search through your existing network. So let's go ahead and take a look. TalentLink is a Facebook job posting app for your business page. It helps you increase your job views and drive candidates to your jobs because everything can be shared through social media. So that's Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. They're pulled by aggregators, so Indeed and Simply Hired, and they're also indexed by search engines, Google, Bing, Yahoo, so that people can find your jobs very easily. And it really just increases your overall talent pool and helps you reach more people and therefore get more candidates. Candidates can apply through TalentLink directly with a cover letter and a resume without ever leaving Facebook, or if you prefer, the app can integrate with your ATS to pull jobs and redirect interested candidates. ProSearch is our second tool. It's our sourcing tool, which allows you to search Facebook profiles with filtering, ranking, and relevance. You can also download resumes, message candidates, and see how you're connected to the candidates through your company's employees. So you can start with a free user profile at identified.com, or you can let us know if you're interested in the ProSearch subscription, which has all of the added filtering features built in and better messaging. So we're currently running a 4-month promotional trial for ProSearch and TalentLink together. So let us know if you'd be interested in trying it out. So that's it. Thanks for joining us today. Our next webinar is in 2 weeks on Tuesday, May 22nd at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I wanted to actually open the topic up to you all for joining us today and get your feedback on what topics are the most interesting to you. So we're going to do a quick poll. If you wouldn't mind just choosing the topics that are most interesting to you, that'd be fantastic. If you have your own ideas, just write those in the chat box. I just want to make sure that we're providing topics to you that you're interested in learning about that can provide the most value to you and your organization. So if you have any feedback, please share it with us. We'd be so grateful. And we'll go ahead and get to some of the questions while you're all doing the poll. So if you have any questions about today's presentation, go ahead and type them into the Q&A box to your right, and we'll try and get to them. So what do we have? Anything today?
Questions?
Yes, questions.
Do you have a dedicated corporate interface where employees can connect to monitor their referrals, such as Select Minds Talent Buying, for instance?
We're a really small company right now, so no, we do not have an internal referral program set up. We're just kind of using, like I said, some of these free tools. We're using Facebook, so all of our employees follow our company page on Facebook, and they know when we're hiring because our app, TalentLink, posts directly to all of those pages. So from there, we can just press the like button, which will show our network that we like this position. We can comment on it. We can share it to our own Facebook wall. And then I also showed you the Facebook group that we have set up. That's our Identified headquarters group, so I use that to share jobs as well. It sends a notification to everybody. It sends an email notification to everybody that has that turned on. So when I ask for a referral, everybody gets that message and can then pass it along to anybody that might be interested. We also use email, so our recruiters have set up a couple of email blasts just saying, hey, if you guys know anybody, please forward this email. Here's the job description. They can reply directly to my email or through our Facebook page. So we're kind of just using some of these smaller tactics because we're such a small company. It's really easy to stay organized, but definitely as we scale, we're going to need to implement something like that. I wish I had a good one to recommend, but I don't because we're not using it ourselves. But if anybody does have a good recommendation, go ahead and shout it out and I'll share it with everybody. Any other questions? Great. So it looks like somebody was asking about the ProSearch trial. It's ProSearch and TalentLink, so you can get the sourcing tool for 5 people for 4 months, as well as unlimited job postings on your Facebook career page. And that's $1,000 for the 4 months, so it's a really great intro package to kind of get your feet wet with Facebook recruitment. And we do offer Facebook recruiting consultations, so if you're not sure if one or both of these solutions or maybe some other aspect of Facebook recruiting is a good fit for you, you can always ask us to have a quick phone call with you and we can go over what your current strategy looks like and what some of our recommendations are. So thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for submitting your poll questions. It looks like, I can't read what that one says, finding top talent on Facebook and Twitter. So that'll be our next topic. Looks like that was by far the most popular one. The second most popular was getting started with Facebook recruitment advertising, so perhaps we'll do that in about a month from now. So thank you so much everybody for joining us, and we will see you all in 2 weeks with finding top talent on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good one everyone. Bye-bye.